Hello, 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 everybody. How is everybody doing? It is eBlack with eBlack TV. If you haven't already, no, this is the first episode of season 3, The Modern Black Image and Its Future. Welcome to everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Today we're having a great subject. I brought some people along. That ain't never going to change. And we're going to talk about a couple of subjects that caught my eye. We have a little bit more freedom now. We can get a little loose. We can do some hot topics, trends, and we can do all that stuff now. Let's get into it. We're going to talk about Lori Harvey, of course, with Michael B. Jordan. We're also going to talk about the Pineapple Show with the nuclear physicist and the young lady. We're going to also talk about why begging women for submission is not going to work. And we're going to try to tie those things together because I think it's really important for the image of the current image of Black America to stop doing the whining. Stop whining. Men, you don't have to whine. If a woman don't like you, let it go. And if she wants you, she'll figure out how to get back to you or find another one. What's up, ladies?
Hey.
You're muted, Tawana, of course.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm always slow to unmute. I'm so sorry.
What's going on, ladies? How you doing?
Good. Hello,
Okay.
Black TV audience.
Hey, everybody.
So, look, I gotta get the soundboard right. I gotta get the soundboard right because I got some.
He be on that time, like
I know.
Look, I'm trying to get y'all in and out. Look, they'll catch it on the replay. That's my motto. I'm not gonna be sitting here couch twerking for another 30 minutes.
I don't want to. I cannot. Don't put that clip up there. Please. don't put the butterfly up there.
There's no shortage of men for Lori Harvey. Like,
okay.
do you understand that she's going to have access to men? She First of all, she's leaving these relationships with no strings attached. She doesn't have children with these men. She don't have no bond or tie to these men. When she leaves, she's a free woman. She literally can start her life over. So there is no reason why she's not going to meet someone else and get engaged like she did in 2016. I mean, she's been engaged before. Maybe she knows kind of what it takes, and maybe she feels like this wasn't the right circumstance for her. And so I think it's really just that simple.
So is it just because she has pretty privilege
that she should not be desperate for a man?
Mm-hmm.
I think that we shouldn't teach desperation to any woman. I think that we should not marry for the reason of fear of being lonely. I think that it's actually why so many marriages end in divorce and why so much, it's so many failed marriages just in the world in general, because we do sometimes marry out of fear that we won't meet anybody else. And she is 25. She probably don't have that fear right now. I mean, there's no shortage of men around her, I mean, I think that some of us project onto her because it's like, maybe they don't have, maybe the people who are commenting don't have a lot of options and don't have, they don't have that same life, so they don't understand.
Well, let's be fair about it. We've seen the Lisa Rays, the Vivica Foxes. We've seen I wouldn't even say Naomi Campbell because Naomi Campbell has now.
She's been with her partner for a while, right?
Yeah. So, but I think what we're saying is that, okay, pretty fair privilege, yes, will probably get you the guy or the option to get a guy, but at the same time, like for the rest of everybody, we don't want our women to think that, okay, go ahead thinking you hot stuff and then figure out later on.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that, but my thing is, did she ever say that she wanted to be a wife and be married?
The one thing I found out
So
about
I've never heard her express that. So
Yeah.
if anybody has, that's
Well,
so
she was engaged in 2016, so I can
she was
only
engaged,
assume
but she didn't marry that
he
person.
didn't
So
marry
maybe
him.
that
So
she's really not into it. So
right, right. I
I,
don't
I
know.
don't understand why we so invested in it in the first place. Like we are not living in their reality.
we look,
Their
that's
money
not
or
that's
anything
not that's
else.
not
So,
we live through our celebrities.
Right.
no,
Our celebrities are the
no.
are us. When I see T.I. and he's with the hot cock and he's dipping in money and he's throwing it up, that's me because I can't do it right now.
Yeah.
We live vicariously through our celebrity, and they are a part of us because they are a shade of the people we want to be, and they do the actions that necessarily reflect the lifestyle that we have. So
Yeah.
So
it's a
my other question would be so how, and then the other thing I was thinking about when I was listening to a lot of these panels talking about it,
Mhm.
how do we know? Because we only know what is being shown in social media and all that. We don't know what's happening on the inside of their home or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There could be some things going on there where she feels like he's not marriage material.
Mhm.
Oh, come
You
on
know,
now. Wait. You rent out a whole museum. You put
it doesn't
flowers.
matter.
You put flowers and candles and then you
That's
take her to the
superficial. That's
and it,
superficial. No,
All those grand gestures, you could be
yeah, like
overcompensating.
he probably has some bad habits that she probably don't like. You don't know if he talks to her, in a way that she doesn't, feel comfortable. We don't know. We only know what's being, shown in social media for her to say no.
Yeah.
So that's why I really didn't judge it in any other way because we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. He can be this wonderful guy, the sexiest man of the year, but he
oh
can be
yeah, he did get sexiest man of the year. Oh
but
yeah.
listen, he's been in a lot of relationships prior to her, and
Yes.
he's broken up with a lot of women, and women have broken up with him.
Yeah.
So apparently, there's something not connecting with the women that he's dating. So you have to look at that as well.
And Manel, elephant guy. Uh, I look. If I don't say it the first time, it ain't gonna work. But we are the only community that calls a 25-year-old young a
No.
woman young. This is a grown woman. Nothing worse than seeing an old woman that used to be the baddie is now an old single woman. And I agree. I think this is where my age starts to show. Where I agree, she is a grown woman, but at the same time, the maturity level that she's at right now, she's probably to what 2 years at the age of a person that's 2 years out of a college.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I remember that time where you're still young. I'm still able to dunk. I'm still, women are still sexy and they still got that twinkle in their eye.
Right.
The world is yours at that moment in time. So I don't want to say young in terms of like innocent or naive. I'm saying young in the sense that this person, if this person is untainted, they still have the world of opportunity in front of them without a lot of boundaries.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
Well, I'll say this because listen, I was proposed to twice before I actually got married, and I rejected both. Right, I rejected both, and I think I was 21 with one, and I was 23 with the other,
mm,
and I was like, and everybody was like, why you don't want to marry him? He's so great. He does all of these things for you. Blah blah blah. But it was like the possessiveness. It was some other stuff that I was like, I'm gonna be miserable. Like I'm gonna be miserable. Oh,
let's ask the obvious question because I know a lot
yeah,
of guys will ask it. Is it the chance that you may have wanted to explore your options?
maybe. I just didn't think it was the right one for me. I was like, this isn't it, right? Like I wasn't like completely sold on it. And
Mm-hmm.
even when he asked, I was like, why is he doing this? Like, what is going on? I don't know. I just wasn't, my mind wasn't even thinking about that step. We hadn't even had the conversation. We hadn't, it was like nothing that
Right.
indicated that I was ready to get married to you. And so I did eventually get married at 25, like almost 26. So I was about Lori Harvey's age when I got married, and I was so unprepared for marriage. Like you said, I was 2 years out of college. I was fresh in my career, and it was just like we literally had no idea what we were doing, but the person was also like my age too, so
Yeah.
it wasn't like an older guy like Michael B. Jordan. He's much older than her. And so you wonder if she just got some red flags, or if she just really
Right.
wasn't ready for marriage. But at 25, it's really realistic why you see the marriage trends increasing and people getting married at later ages now, because first, the life expectancies change.
All right, I'm gonna be a little petty today. As you seen with the thumbnail, you already know somebody catching a stray today. Somebody catching a stray today. But we're gonna talk about the three different communities that I've mentioned. We're gonna be discussing why Black love is at a danger. What's the future of Black love? And also, we're going to be discussing why it's important for Black love to continue in the midst of so many entities trying to attack it. But we're going to first at least define them. We're going to first at least say this is what they have. And they have valid points. I will say, after I've done my research, they have valid points. Okay.
I think it's the wrong perception that because I'm dating somebody outside my race. Look, I love my father. I love my four brothers. I was raised up in a 2-parent home. So if I have that in my family, I love that. I have 2 Black children, and I love them too. So I hate when people say we don't love Black love. Maybe it comes a time in my life. I'm divorced now. I got married at a young age, and maybe I didn't realize what I wanted. And now when I'm older, I know what I want, and I know what kind of man I need.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
I think it's wrong to say Black women don't love black love when they got Black children.
And that from that day on, I knew that I could never probably date or truly be in a relationship with anybody outside of my race. I've had friends who have children with outside of their race, and I still see them being subconscious. Not only that, I do want to see my future generation look like me. So from my standpoint, no. Do I see anything wrong with it? No. But I think it does make it harder on themselves. But I also see beautiful families, all Black and Latino. I've seen all different variations, and I'm indifferent, but at the same time, I know it's hard, and I know subconsciously as a Black man, it can be hard too.
No, calm down. No, I'm just saying, if you want someone to submit to you, you're gonna have to be the provider. You're gonna have to be the head. Like,
Yeah.
I
And
mean, I
with
don't
it,
see the problem in being submissive, even subservient, but it's almost like that kind of lady in the street, but
home in the
um,
bed. Yeah.
hole in the bed.
Oh,
In the
I'm
sheets.
sorry. I'm thinking of the wrong thing. I'm sorry.
It's a lady in the streets, a freak in the sheets.
Oh,
That
okay.
kind of that concept, that
I
concept.
made up my own little thing.
He's a hole in the bed.
But okay, and you know what? I actually did a live cast about a couple. I want to say last week or the week before. I
Mhm.
called "Are You Ready to Be King?" And I think this kind of goes in line with that ideology that are you ready for what you're asking for? And
Right.
and in today's age, are we really trying to uphold gender roles in today's society that I don't think, or I feel that may not be truly a fair deal on both sides. We don't have, there was a time in which we had to do what we were doing, and now
Right.
today's society is different. However, I do believe that men want to be men, women also. I do believe women want to be women. So, as we kind of unwrap this, because like I said, this is season 3 of the eBlack TV channel, and we're talking about the modern day image and what its future is. So we're gonna come across topics like this, and like I said, very interesting that you kind of brought this to me, and I'm really ready to dive in. So let's talk about what does submission mean. So let's get this started. So the technical definition is the action or fact of accepting or yielding to a superior force or to the will or authority of another person. Now I did add in subservient,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a reason why, but that's just keep it on submission. The act or the fact of accepting yield to a superior force or to the will of another person. Do you have another definition?
No,
No.
no, no.
Okay.
If it goes both ways in the
No,
definition.
no,
Oh, okay.
no. It did not say it goes both ways. It says the accepting or yielding
Mm-hmm.
to a superior force. So that didn't say both ways. It just said superior yielding to a superior force or to the will or authority of another person. I didn't hear nothing about both ways.
Well, it doesn't really break up if it's a relationship. It's just that's like just a blanket definition. But when it comes to a relationship,
Okay.
it's different. So I'm gonna keep going back to the Bible,
Okay.
where a wife's supposed to be submissive to her husband, and the husband's supposed to be submissive to the wife. I'm not gonna be submissive to
It says submissive to God, but
okay, pull up the scripture.
okay.
I'm just kidding.
I ain't
If
something.
someone
I'm,
asks me
I'm
a
just
straight up,
observing from an example.
you can do what the hell
From,
you want.
what I'm
I'm just saying,
saying.
like, if someone asks me a question, I shouldn't have a problem in answering it yes or no, because that's nursery stuff.
So you answer. So you answer every
Nursery
question.
stuff. So listen,
You answer every
guy.
question you ask.
Yes. So you want to ask me a question?
You answer every question you ask.
Listen, unless
Okay.
you've been
How good do your girl suck dick then? Since you answer every question you ask.
brilliantly,
Okay then.
brilliantly, and with
Yeah.
skill. And
Yeah.
I'll add that. And that's why I was in a 10-year marriage. What do you have to say about your?
That's why you was in a 10-year marriage, because you don't know how to read signs, bro.
No, ho.
Read signs. When a woman doesn't answer a personal question after answering 3 times, you should probably stop.
Listen,
that's why they be having to tell you no means no. Like no means no, dog. In every form, no means no. Some of y'all creeps don't know what no means no mean, bro. Some of y'all creeps don't know what no means, man.
Guy, no woman has done that.
No.
Okay, all right.
No woman
All right.
That was weird.
Time out. All right, we do have 2 more questions to go, so let's move this along. All right.
I do have a question for Simon though.
No. No.
It's about the topic.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so do you feel that men should be submissive, Simon?
Yes. I've said this, like I've said this.
Who was that? Yay, boo.
Don't play me.
Go ahead, Simon. Go ahead.
I ain't saying shit. She asked me a question. I answered the question.
Okay.
He said men should be. You think the same thing, Yella?
I'll suck your
men
toes.
should be submissive?
Yes, I'll suck your toes. Is that what submissive is to you? Do you see what happened just there? Exactly. Bam.
What?
Momentary moment.
I think it's a given. I think you should just do that anyway.
No, it's not. Most men ain't gonna do that because most men don't comprehend the situation.
So Simon, you gonna do that?
I'll fucking suck her toes if she's cool with that. But most women have a feet fetish.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. I'm glad we got that out the way. I did not just tell you don't ask him a question. You
exactly.
All right.
We're not Teletubbies up in here. Like we're grown adults. So Sorry, thanks for having me on this platform, B9.
I'm getting a yellow on this.
Yellow's gonna kill me in one shape or form. He's gonna pull up
These
on me.
niggas is weird, man.
Yellow is gonna pull up on me. Like, I'm gonna be walking down the road.
There's the internet, and then there's the internet. Like that. Simon be on the internet, boy. I swear to God.
I'm gonna be walking down the road, my child.
I just want to be on the internet. That nigga be on the internet, boy. Shit. All right, bro. Boy, look. You couldn't pay me to look at that nigga search history, dog. You couldn't pay me. It's probably traumatizing. Yeah, Simon's search history probably traumatizing.
All right, let's relax. Let's relax.
My history. I'll suck those girls' toes.
We're going to talk about defund the police, policing mental health, family members. How should you be dealing with somebody with mental illnesses? And this is under the guise of season 3, the modern Black image and its future. So we have to talk about mental health because currently right now, most people have heard, are you crazy? Or, well, I'm a little bit bipolar. We all kind of pass mental health by. And I've heard a lot of people kind of touch on it. If you haven't known already, I've done multiple shows on depression, seasonal depression. If you didn't know already, I have family members in my personal life who suffer from depression issues. I'm always going to be an advocate on mental health and different ways that we can treat. And not only that, kind of decouple the stigma around it. I just want to say that, when we talk about policing, I do want to add the fact that policing is more than just locking bad people up. Am I wrong about that?
Sir, everything you are saying is correct. But Black people, especially darker Blacks like you and I, we need the police, because if it were not for the police, it would be anarchy, like Chef Shapino just said.
Mm-hmm.
What I am saying is that the idea of defunding the police is absurd. Our people, meaning me and you, we have not evolved to self-govern ourselves.
No people has.
Sir, if you take away government from the Japanese or the American Jew, they will have a civilization. If you take away government from Blacks, it's particularly darkies like you and me, it will be utter chaos. You Black asses, you need the police. You need a lot of police, eBlack. Okay?
Yeah, and I understand. Look,
yeah,
I get that. And I get that. And I get that. Look, America's rough. I've always said this.
Rough. Okay, go ahead.
I've always said this, that, other than America, the world is also a ghetto too. Most countries are not self-sustainable.
Yeah.
They riddled with crime. Most countries. I don't care where you go. So we need the police. We need a law-abiding system to ensure that law and order is being provided and justice for all. That is the democratic way in America. We hope that other countries do pass that on to their own citizens, which is why a lot of times we get ourselves into other people's business by, trying to help them out. Take, for instance, Afghanistan. They want to rule their people their own way. That's up to them, right? Right? If they don't want women to go to church, if they don't want women to go to school, that's up to them. So however a certain country wants to raise, that's fine. However they want to police themselves, excuse me, that's fine. So, I'm not going to, I want to make sure that we're talking about an American issue. And like you said, we are, as the taxpayers, pay into a system that we have a right to have a voice in how some of its mechanics can be ran. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I agree. But what are you essentially arguing right now? What are you arguing here?
What are we arguing right now? Is we're just getting started. So I'm you guys, literally between the chat and between you have kind of precursored a lot of things. So we're gonna get to Brianna Grier. Have you heard about the story?
Now, who is this woman?
This woman is a young Black woman who recently passed away. She suffered under schizophrenia, and she had an episode in which she got arrested for.
Go ahead, sir.
She also passed away. She from blunt force trauma. So we're going to play this video. I want you guys to understand that this is the news report in regards to her, and we're going to have a larger discussion in regards to defunding the police.
Investigating how a woman in the custody of Hancock County deputies ended up in a coma at Grady Memorial Hospital in Atlanta.
Camila Williams tells us what happened when a Sparta family called for help for a daughter in need.
If I had known that it was going to turn out like this, God knows I wouldn't have called in to come and get her.
And Mary and Marvin Grier didn't expect their daughter Brianna Grier to end up in a coma.
I just broke down and cried because it's just ridiculous how she landed there with tubes and pipes everywhere on her. For no reason, because it didn't have to be that. It didn't have to be that.
The incident happened right outside the Grier family's home. Brianna was having a schizophrenic episode, and they called the Hancock County Sheriff's for help. When 2 deputies came, they arrested her and took her away. But it was the call they got the next morning. That's where they were shocked.
Sheriff Terrell came out and told my wife that she kicked the door out and jumped out the car.
GBI Special Agent Mary Chandler confirmed that the car was moving when Brianna got out, but the family isn't buying that story.
If she got out the car, they had to let her out the car. That's my interpretation, because if in a police car, you can't open the door from the inside. So you've heard the precursor argument to it, right? Am I wrong? Chaotic, you there? Still there? So, like I said, you're hearing it right now. A woman,
I'm here. Give me a second. All right, bro. I'm here. Give me a second.
Yeah, no problem. So you heard it. A woman had a schizophrenic episode. To be even more detailed about it, she ended up getting arrested, handcuffed, put into a back of a car. The police state that she kicked out the door, and then she fell, bumped her head, and was in a coma for 4 days. Now, are we still, when I talk about defunding the police, this is kind of the situation that I'm talking about. This is about, why is this person who's suffering from a mental issue going to jail? Chaotic?
Sir, you're speaking to an individual who has a master's degree in special education, who has worked in the mental health field.
Okay.
A person who has worked in the Black community previously as a probation officer and as a school teacher. You're talking to someone who has fraternal ties with volunteering with Blacks. And I'm going to say this, eBlack, and I'm going to say this in love. And I hope that your followers, your viewers, the people who are watching you respect what I'm saying. I don't give a fuck. Hear me out.
Okay.
First of all, this whole mental illness thing is played out.
Oh, really?
Everybody has a mother effing mental illness now. They resisted arrest. Oh, you know, they're schizophrenic. Oh, they resisted arrest. Well, you know, they're bipolar. Sir, when you tell people that they're mentally ill, over and over, it gives them justification in acting like a fool. We live in a first world society. We live in a first world society, my good sir.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a society that has an abundance of resources. We live in a society that has an abundance of opportunities. And if degenerates cannot figure out how to survive and make it in this society, fuck them. Are we cussing over here tonight?
Yeah, we can cuss.
Okay. Forget them. Now, again, we don't really know what was wrong with that girl.
Her parents stated that she had a schizophrenic episode.
Sir.
Now, I with your mental health background, you do understand about mania?
Sir.
You knew? Okay.
Sir.
So I just want to make sure we're doing this
Sir.
clinically right.
Sir. I worked in the mental health field.
Okay.
I can tell you that 95% of the people that I dealt with were bullshitting. Now, maybe 5% of them were really mentally ill. But 95% of the people, which is hundreds of people I've dealt with, are bullshit. They're finagling the system. Finagle. Or as you niggers like to say, finessing. Sir, we are going into a different age of civilization. And we have to separate ourselves from this degenerate behavior. The bitch was acting a fool. Period. Point blank. She's been told all her life that she has schizophrenia. Some made up bullshit. Let's be honest. Mm-hmm. She's been told all her life that she has a condition. And here goes the thing. Why do I have to deal with that as a person? Yes. As a police officer, as a teacher, as her neighbor? Fuck her. There are a lot of people who supposedly have schizophrenia. They work fine in society. Why do we have to constantly give excuses for people claiming to have some sort of mental illness? I'm tired of it. Fuck them. I work in this field, sir.
Okay.
I'm tired of
all right. I've heard enough. Okay, first of all,
get the floor. Go ahead.
As a person who's directly dealt with people who have depression and schizophrenia, this is not a fake. There are episodes, but that's say, for instance, you're right. How about we just play the fact that what if this was a true to life schizophrenic episode? So let's play that card rather than playing the card that she may be faking it, because I want you to understand that these are real life situations. And the only way we can really solve these things, like figuring out why an EMS was not called instead of the sheriffs, who are unequipped to handle a person in mental disorder. Put them on a gurney, give them some sedatives, calm them down, talk to them. See, these are things that we don't talk about in our community. And I think we have too many lazy people who do not want to dig deeper and say, you know what, if a person is having a known issue, she's prescribed drugs, she's in therapy, she's had 3 or 4 arrests for the same schizophrenic episodes, why can we not say, take away resources to allow for the policemen who want to deal with medical issues, the medical mental health team to handle that? And instead of trying to take her to jail, take her to a hospital, because most mania lasts for 3 or 4 days. What a lot of times happens is that the police officers, they put them in jail for 2 or 3 days, and the person comes out and they go right back in because they have not been treated medically. That's the conversation I'm trying to have. So I understand your point on, some people may use it for a cop out because in our society, we all are bipolar. In our society, we all a little bit crazy. But let's try to talk about the realistic fact that a person who was in the middle of the episode at the middle of the night, their parents have to make a call. Who do they call so that their person who they care for does not get sent home and found out to be dead by the next morning? Okay. Go ahead.
Fuck her.
Fuck you, man. You wild.
Fuck her schizophrenia. Fuck her mental illness. She is a degenerate. She has inferior DNA. And why should I care about her?
Do you know how many people who have schizophrenia?
Sir, you asked me a question. Sir,
I didn't ask you a question. You actually
care, sir. It's survival of the fittest.
Really?
LeBron James doesn't care about me. LeBron, do you care that would you ever trade places with me, LeBron? No. People are animals. And the fact of the matter is that we have to get rid of degenerate bloodlines. She comes from an inferior bloodline. So fuck her. Because if it was a fucking man, nobody would care. Black or white.
I'm not gonna go back and forth with this nigga. I just wanted to say what I had to say, Black. I'll holler at you, bro. Get at me.
Now check this out about Victor Freeze. I'm almost 40 years old. Victor Freeze is almost 40. You could go back and play it from what he said. He said, you could say all this stuff, but you walk in the streets and something might happen to you. But the moment I say that blacks are violent, niggas will deny it. This nigga out of his own motherfucking mouth just literally said, oh, well, blacks, they don't like what you say. They might run up on you. It goes to show you the inferior primitive nature of the African. That I can't voice my fucking opinion. That I can't say what's on my fucking mind.
Most places in the world are like that, Keke.
That's what happened.
Most places in the world.
The fact of the matter is that we are talking about a degenerate black.
Can I ask you a question? Would you believe that everybody in the world
is coming to bat for?
Can I ask you a question? Is everybody?
Nobody can name me 5 black women who are fucking.
Hold up. Take a deep breath. Woosah. The big vein in your forehead coming out, man. With the woosah. One. You got a microphone. You got a microphone.
Talk about black people who are degenerate.
I'm like this. Every person in the world is capable of violence.
I don't give a fuck.
I like that picture. Go Ravens. I like that picture. Go Ravens. But it's every person.
So, I'm gonna get into relationships later. Money. They spoke on the fact that life insurance, building wealth, owning a home, and man being a steward of the house. These are pro-black staples. We all want to see generational wealth through the avenues of capitalism. We want to see building wealth. Insurance is not an American unique tool. Insurance is not just American. Insurance has been in this world since the ancient times. Jesus walked around with insurance agents. So this is not just a unique thing that is just unique to, say, the capitalistic society. This is to human society. And I do agree that black people need to ensure generational wealth through building of life insurance, owning a home, and building wealth. I don't see a problem there. But once again, because they hear some feminists say something, they associate that with being pro-black. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. Being pro-black is actually being more into the system and building wealth, because you understand that you need black businesses to thrive up the wealth within the community. We've built such a society in which we go to a bank and we don't understand who's behind that bank. We've built up a society and not understanding the value of credit unions. I want you to understand that when Cesar Chavez was doing his protests, they set up credit unions for immigrants, and these immigrants then built houses off the credit. And when they were short, they used the credit unions to give their workers loans to support the families. See, these are things that, like I said, we want to have in our black community, because we want to ensure that people can go to work, they can buy homes, they can do that. These are social contracts in which, like I said, black people should be having. Now, you guys know, I've exposed a couple of scammers or two in my life. We've exposed how they come and they try to pry on your weaknesses and your tendencies. I put them on the screen. I showed you who they are as a person. But JT the Pocket Watcher, he's a legend. He's in a different tax bracket. I deal with dustos. He deals with the upper class echelon dustos. He does this on a grander scale. So I want you guys to really, if you know his content, please go subscribe to him. I really don't need to say that. But either way, today we're here to talk about scammers and how they affect and ruin the black community. I really want you guys to learn from this, because we're going to really break it down. We about to get it in. My guy, Pocket Watching with JT. What's going on?
I'm here. I was wondering when I was going to get the invite, man. We was trying to get it set up for a while, but I'm finally here. I'm finally on eBlack TV. I feel good, man. I feel like I made it. I need to call my mom and let her know I made it. I'm here now, baby. I'm home. Let's get it going.
You're going to have to stop the capping, man.
Let's do it. No, hey, listen, I appreciate anytime anybody invites me on that platform, I take it as an honor, because I want to remind people, I've only been on YouTube for a little over a year. So about 2 years ago, I would have just been in my office doing paperwork and working with clients and stuff like that. This whole media online, sharing my opinions, my thoughts and stuff like that, it's extremely new. And to have someone say, hey, I want to hear what this guy has to say, it's an honor to me. So thank you so much for the invite.
Yeah, man. You know, we've been really struggling, or I shouldn't say struggle. I want to keep it positive. We've been grinding to get this channel up. You know, I've been trying to connect with the people, change up a couple of things. You know, I try to network, but the one thing I try to do is also stay authentic to myself and the message that I have, you know. And like I said, I think that's been most paying off for me. You, of course, with your niche that you have and the levels of experience that you have, I mean, come on now. You have to expect people to really, and your personality. Come on now.
No, listen. Let me explain for those of you who are unaware, right? Let me explain to you guys a little bit of my background. So I'm a financial advisor from the city of St. Louis, Missouri, right? I come from parents, small business owners who made me their bookkeeper since I was 9 years old, right? So I've been working with numbers and stuff like that since I was 9. So to me, this is just the everyday thing. But I'm telling you, when I decided to get on YouTube, I did not expect the response that I got, right? So for a little bit of background here, As a financial advisor, I work with clients to try to create a financial plan, help them meet their financial goals. I give them advice, say, hey, this is how we need to manage the money to meet the goals in retirement that you have, right? But what would ultimately happen is that we would create a financial plan tailored just for this particular individual. And then a couple of weeks later, maybe a month later, I'll get a text message or I'll get a phone call and they'll say, hey, JT, I just saw this thing on TikTok or I just saw this thing on Instagram and it looks good. I want to add this to my financial plan. Check it out. And I grab my phone and I look and I'm like, who is this talking? Like, I don't even know. This guy is a felon. Not only is he a felon, the advice that he's given is scammer advice. So I would have to explain to the client, hey, listen, I know you're excited because the guy who's talking on the screen right now, he seems like he's legit. But as a financial professional, as a certified financial planner, I have to let you know, no, we're not doing that because one, it's bad advice. Two, it might be illegal. I didn't need a lesson on credit to understand that you get a bad reputation if you borrow stuff and don't give it back.
Oh, I heard about that.
Right. Everybody remembers. I'm talking about just as kids, not like being streetwise on the street. I'm talking about as kids. If you borrowed somebody's football from across the street and you never gave it back, good luck at another kid letting you borrow their toy. Yeah. Right? What about video games? Because I'm the Super Nintendo, PlayStation generation.
Yeah,
somebody borrow your video game.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you knock on the door. They don't. All of a sudden, you don't see it.
Listen, I let you borrow my Madden 2003 for the weekend because I'm going out of town. When I come back in town and you don't have my Madden disc for my PlayStation, we're going to have some problems. Not only are we going to have some problems, I'm going to let everybody know at the playground, don't let so-and-so borrow your games. This Negro don't like giving it back. So we understand that on a fundamental level, that when someone lends you something and you don't give it back in the terms that you agreed with, you're going to get a bad reputation. Well, that's what your credit score is. Your credit score is your personal representation of your ability to pay people back. Why should you have good credit if you have a history of not paying people back? See, that's on you. That's a character and value issue. You don't need a college course on how credit works. You need a college course on how ethics and values work. You don't like giving stuff back. That's your problem.
Preach.
I can go all day, but that's my personal feeling when it comes to credit. People looking for credit to solve their broke ambitions. How about you just save up the money and then pay people back on the small loans that you get, and you'll be surprised how you'll be able to get bigger loans later.
All right. And when he came up with the idea of a new social contract for the Black community, what kind of got you towards that direction? Because it was a great idea, by the way.
Well, the thing is that I hear a lot of talk about destination. A lot of times when you talk about, the pro-Black solution or any kind of solution, for the Black community, I always hear destination. We need to come together. We need to do this. It's like the idea of saying you got to get abs. It's like, well, you need a path to get to abs, or you just need to be a millionaire. You need a path to get to, being a millionaire. You need a path to get to wealth. You need a path for these things, or at least an order of operations that you and the group can adhere to. And if you don't have that, well, then you're just talking about a destination. That's kind of not a solution. So it prompted me to kind of say, well, here, I'll offer this to the conversation, of which, the actual idea came from Ed Anderson, but he didn't expound on it. You know what I mean? So I just took it and said, hey, I appreciate you, Edward, and said, let me expound on it. And then kind of, wrote up a few, what I'm saying, like skeleton bullet points as it means to kind of come to some kind of like, resolution with regards to, the Black community. And, yeah, that was it. But that's what prompted me to do it,
Yeah, shout out to Ed Anderson. Very early on, Ed Anderson was, he took me by his wing and he showed me the ropes of the Black manosphere and a lot of different things. And I've been rocking with the guys ever since. And he's an intelligent brother. So when you talk about, you wrote some skeletons in regards to the Black social contract. Why do you feel that the pro-Black doesn't address that? Let's start there.
Well, the thing is that in order to have a solution, a solution or a social contract for the Black community, the Black woman has to agree to it. And where I think that we have a problem is getting the Black woman on board to agree with said contract. Because see, the contract would have to be written and it would restrict us, but these are not restrictions we would be, against. It would be, of course, financial restrictions. There'll be sexual restrictions. Obviously, you can't be promiscuous. There'll be familial and relational restrictions. You know what I'm saying? Restrictions for the kids. Of course, but these restrictions are going to be placed on you as a means to cover you, to give you protection, to give you safety, to give you comfort and things of that nature. And our women pride themselves in not being a monolith. Well, a social contract is the antithesis of that idea. So if they don't want to be a monolith, then having a uniform way of doing things would probably not be in their best interest. That's the problem that I see, because you can give dudes a good deal or a good plan and they'll get on board. You know what I'm saying? Most guys have played some kind of sports in their life. Most often you say, hey, we're going to play a zone 2-3. You know what I'm saying? Ball rotates this way. This is where you go, whatever. Guys will typically get together and figure it out. Even when you're playing pickup ball, a lot of times people, the first 3 or 4 plays, guys recognize who the best guy on the court is and say, okay, cool, we need to play around him. Women don't necessarily do that. It's more individualistic. It's more, I want to be my own. I'm not a monolith. We're not a monolith. And, a contract suggests monolithic views and ideas. So that's why I think you run into a problem.
So you think, based on what you're saying, is that the pro-Black approach is outdated based on today's woman? I thought of something. I keep hearing this word pop up: alpha, beta males. I'm in spaces and they're just constantly talking about it. And I figured, let's tackle it. And when I did my research for people who I would love to talk about it, I had to, of course, speak to authentic alpha males, right? That only makes sense, right? So once again, I got on the phone line, I got my guy, Ayindei. If you didn't know him, he's helped developed large platforms, some of your favorite platforms that you guys so-called don't like, but you guys sure love to look at. He's helped develop them. He's helped also develop his own social media platform with over 20,000 subscribers. He's also doing consulting and helping men reach their purpose. See, this is the things that when we talk about bringing on people for informationals, we got to check their background. And the background seems straight up official. So when we talk about authentic alphas, Ayindei is the perfect guy. So the question that I'm presenting to you guys is, do you think alphas can be, or alpha men can be born, or do you think they're born or are they made? And we're going to tackle that question. So if you're catching this on replay, please leave a like, subscribe, of course. But let's go into it. What's going on, my guy, Ayindei? Hold on one sec. I got you. You're on mute. You're on mute. There you go. I got you off mute.
Okay, there you go, man. What's up, brother? What's going on, eBlack?
What's good, man?
So an alpha is somebody who has a clear understanding of what it is that they're trying to accomplish. They understand their purpose. Yeah. If they're gonna lead by example. They're not gonna dictate. Okay, they're gonna lead by exhibition. You see what I'm saying? So that's somebody that's also is competitive in whatever realm that is. Doesn't have to be a physical realm, doesn't have to be a financial realm, but it has to be some type of realm. So within that arena, he is competitive and he is dominant. He's winning at something. Okay, so it's misused. The word is bastard. It's bastardized, right? They bastard.
Yeah, it's been beat down. I swear, it's been. They've been even the word beta, simp. I think we've used the words as trigger words or even clickbait to kind of get an ideology across for profit over men. Let's be honest. We say, hey man, you need to be an alpha, right? But what does the alpha look like? And what is that? Is that a mindset? But I can't teach you a mindset. I could teach you that an alpha needs to buy a suit. Oh, that makes me money now.
Right. Now, so what is alpha? What is beta? These are mindsets. These are all mindsets. I try to explain this to people because there's behaviors that you could consider alpha. And is it the behavior alpha, or are you associating it with alphas because you've seen alphas behave in a similar fashion? But if a dude has a weak mindset, he has a fragile mindset, he has an insecure mindset, and he's acting out with physical alpha behaviors, how is he alpha? Because the mindset behind that behavior wasn't alpha. So he's imitating right now. He's imitating, right?
Yeah.
He's playing dress up. So
we hear that a lot with the thugs. Like everybody wants to be a thug because
exactly
they're considered the alphas of the community, right?
But you can see, this is the thing though. You can't be a thug and alpha at the same time, though, my dude.
Oh, okay.
You can't, because how? First of all, a thug is underachieving as it is. You're underachieving. So who are you leading and inspiring?
Underachievers.
I mean, you're underachieving by being in that realm in the first place, right? To be a thug, you have to hide to do your business. You gotta be dishonest about how you're making your money. What's alpha about that? You see what I'm trying to say? You can't be proud and loud about what you're doing. Maybe in the hood you can. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all. So if I put a piranha in a tank with goldfish, does that make him a shark?
No, it just makes him naturally what he is.
Right, because if I put him where the sharks is, he's gonna get eaten.
Yeah.
But he's tough around those goldfish though. He got them gold pressure. So if a dude is doing these behaviors and you're off in a distance, you say, yo, he's a simp. Look what he doing. He a simp. Oh, wow, look, he doing that for the woman. Oh, he a simp. Look at him over there simping for that woman. Okay, but what's his mindset though? What's the mindset in which he's doing this? So I'll give you an example. So let's say there's a pretty girl crossing the street and she carrying some groceries or something like that. Some dude stop what he doing. Oh, hold on, man. Let me run over here. Run over here, help her with these groceries.
Nah, he a simp.
Now, is he a simp?
He a simp. Yeah, nah.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I get your point.
No, hold on. I want you to put a paper clip in that. All right, he's a simp. Now, what if the next day he's on that very same block, that very same intersection? He passing by that very same supermarket. And now there's an old granny crossing the street. She got her groceries. He said, oh, man, hold on. I'll be right back. Let me run over here. I gotta help her with these groceries. Is he a simp?
No.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So did he help that young pretty girl, that sexy thing with the yoga pants and the booty jiggling, wiggling? The booty had a soundtrack. Did he help her with the groceries because he was a simp? Or did he help her with the groceries because that's how he was raised? He's a gentleman. His mindset is, I can't let a female struggle with these groceries. My grandfather and my grandmother wouldn't be proud of me.
Okay.
They'd be ashamed of me to see me let this female struggle with these groceries. They probably take issue with her outfit choice. They probably think, Lord have mercy, did you see her pants, Henry? The kids today, what was she wearing? Looked like paint. You know, Granny might not be pleased with her fashion sense.
Yeah.
But she's still a female. So that's what I'm saying. We so quick to pass judgment on people. You don't know the mindset of that person. You don't understand their behaviors. If a dude step up and he want to be a stepdad, he's a simp. He's kept a hoe.
Yeah, or a beta.
Or was he raised by a stepdad?
Mm-hmm.
Or does he understand the value of stepping in and giving a child some type of stability and support, discipline and upbringing, encouragement? Maybe that's more important to him than the mother's past. We don't know the situation, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So why are we quick to pass judgment? Who are we in the first place to be called? Who are we to be telling people they alpha and they beta and all? Where they give that license at?
I agree with you. I really think it's just a commercialization of words for people to be pushed to buy products, to have a sense of, to separate certain people for their own personal gains. I totally agree with you.
Right.
I mean, there are certain things that I can. It's almost like the horoscope. Like if you was to tell me, hey, you're a Virgo, and I'd be like, oh, I recognize certain traits in you that are Virgo. I think it's kind of like that. Like, yeah.
Right. And how much of it? Right. How much of it is nonsense? So you know. So that's why I'm saying, like, listen, there's a thin line with all these things. I'm not saying simps don't exist. I'm not saying betas don't exist. I'm not saying alphas don't exist. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we can't just be throwing these words around.
Okay.
Because you can't. You're not sure. And a lot of people don't even know the definitions to begin with. They don't know how to spot it or recognize it. How many guys is with a girl and she's not even girlfriend material?
Yeah.
So you don't even know how to define the qualities that will make a female suitable for a relationship. But you calling the next man a simp, you calling this person that, you calling that beta. Come on. Right? So chill. You got guys getting married to women that don't work out, they're getting divorced, she's taking everything, she got the kids and all that. And how could she do it? These women nowadays, these women are terrible. Well, time out. Hold on now. Did you not propose to this woman? Yeah, but so she changed. She worked for the CIA. She's a spy. What happened? What happened? Why the woman you divorced is so different from the woman you married? Because that's the story you're telling. It's not really that likely. And I'm not giving, women a pass or anything like that. All I'm saying is we have issue nowadays with establishing and defining character.
Yeah.
We got issues across the board with that. We got these women picking the wrong men to have children with. We got women having children out of wedlock in the first place. We have communities in society that accepts that kind of behavior when that's absolutely unacceptable. So the bar is set too low. The bar is set too low, right? And we're having all these other problems that stem from these things.
Yeah.
Okay? And the fatherlessness, of course, is a huge component of what we're seeing with the women nowadays as well as the guys. Right? So, yes, I think we need to bring it back to mindset. And we need to start reevaluating ourselves and say, okay, what exactly is going on? What's going on with me when I seem to be getting the same results when it comes to trying to network, make friends? Why am I getting the same results when it comes to dating? Why am I getting the same results with my family? Why am I getting the same results in the business world? Yeah, why are you getting the same results?
Well, introduce yourself.
I'm Miss Polly Wright. That's who I am. I have my own YouTube channel. We talk about relationships and also talk about poly lifestyles and monogamy and how to build better relationships. And I really appreciate eBlack for letting me come on his channel and share some of my knowledge and opinions.
She's just lying to me. But anyway, salute to everybody. This is eBlack with eBlack TV. If you haven't already, check out a lot of our content in the background. We call it the Black Pride. This is the Black Pride. If you want to see some background footage, connect with a little bit of the pettiness I may have in the background. But other than that, if you want to support your guy without having to send super chats, it's a very cheap $3.90. I think it's a $2.99 or $3.99 membership. So I try to keep my people updated with what's going on, schedules. So if you would like to, please join the Black Pride. And that's pretty much it. But today we are talking in regards to, do Black people feel grief? What you think about that, Miss Polly?
Yeah, I definitely think Black people feel grief. I definitely think they do. I do think that we're expected to grieve different. I do believe that.
Yeah, a lot of times in discussions in which I've heard, people do not recognize that, if we're going to say the Black community is so bad, well, what do you think the people that come out of these communities feel like? What are their emotions? How do you, but I guess what people feel is that when you're Black and you're coming from a Black community, like a lot of people say, that is so reckless and so out of control that you're still supposed to be an upstanding citizen. You're still not supposed to show emotions and feelings and not, these are things that, like I said, that I asked myself the question, do Black people have to grieve?
Right. And what I believe is that, like, when people think of grief, they don't really think of it as a whole. We talk about the 5 stages of grief, but a lot of people only see, or I will say, when they see grieving men or women in the Black community, I think they mostly just see just a few stages of it. And a lot of it has to do with anger and or being extremely, I'll say, sad, but like the grief, the whole process, I don't think everyone sees that whole process for our Black community. We see a lot of that, like I said, just the anger and maybe a little bit of sadness, but you're not, quote unquote, allowed to be sad for prolonged amounts of time because you're in that mind that we have to keep pushing on. Unlike, our Caucasian partners who can say, oh, I feel sad, I'm depressed. Those words are really associated with Caucasians. You don't really hear people, they might say I'm sad and depressed, but they don't get to be sad and depressed. They have to keep pressing forth. And I think that that's a bad thing because then that shows that we're not able to actually express our emotions and deal with our mental health issues correctly.
Yeah, and I think that is a correct statement. I think Black people, for a large part, do not give each other the space to grieve, but I don't think the public gives us enough grace to grieve. But when we talk about grief, we talk about, let's get a little clinical. We talk literally sometimes, well, they say 7, but we're going to just stick with 5, the 5 stages of grief. This is something that, when you're going through a traumatic situation and you have an adverse reaction to the situation, it's said that most humans beings, I think Black people are human beings, we go through these things. And we'll talk in regards to what we see in the community. We will talk about what is in the community that current events has affected us, because I think I can name at least 5 or 6 events in which Black people have grieved individually or in a group, and we can walk down the line, there's different stages that I feel we can do. So when you're in the anger, when you're grieving, you sometimes feel as if, you know, why me? It's not fair. How can this happen? Who's to blame for this?
Yes.
I think a lot of times, especially where you see, especially during the George Floyd era, you know, Black people were angry.
Yes,
I
they
think
were.
Rodney King, people were angry.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think, you know, I think you watch even in family funerals, people are angry.
Absolutely.
You know, through a grieving process, you know, you're just frustrated because life is not going the way that you wanted to go, and then you find out that you have to deal with an issue, and these are grieving processes. Once you, first you're in a situation to where you may want to isolate yourself by denying the truth, but then you find out you got to face it, and now you're angry about it. Who's to blame? Mama, you kept on feeding him bacon and eggs, and now he died of diabetes, and you're frustrated because should not be a reality. And I think when we talk about grief, and especially within the Black community, I think we get a lot of we anger with each other. We're mad at each other. Who's to blame for this? Why am I here in this situation? And I think a lot of people don't understand that, you know, we feel the same anger towards our community just as much as anybody else. We have frustrations just towards our community, just like everybody else. But we don't have the luxury of leaving it a lot of times. That's just my opinion.
No, that is correct. I will agree with you. And anger is the one part of grief that I think that people expect from the Black community the most. That's the one they see the most. If there is, you know, even if it is, you know, valid and someone's showing their outrage to something, but then, you know, like you said, you'll see things like riots, things like that. It's like the only way we know how to express, you know, anything in a very loud way is through anger. And that's even like you said, you know, family things. You have someone saying, well, you know, I'm mad at you. You continue to allow that person do this or this. Or I've even heard things that's really bad as like, you know, sons will turn to drug dealers and they'll give their parents drugs. And other people in their family will be like, why would you consistently give someone drugs and that's your parent? And like you said, there's this whole cycle of you know, this unhealthy mental state that we live in, and we try to deny a lot of this because, you know, we don't really we don't like to talk about mental you know, mental things. We don't like to talk about mental illness. We don't like to talk about the processes that we have to go through as a community. We really look negatively on anything that has to do with mental health, and hopefully, you know, we start turning that around. And this is anger.
And then we get internalized anger on ourselves because we start to hate ourselves for feeling the way that we feel. And I want people to understand this is, like I said, we're talking about the Black community in general because I think a lot of times people don't understand the grieving process that we feel. We're you know, certain Black communities, yes, you may walk by drug dealers, you may walk by homelessness, impoverishness. You go to work and you see the injustice in that process, and you're just grieving for your community because you know you wanted it to be better.
Absolutely.
You know, and it becomes an anger factor because you want it to be changed and you don't know how to truly invoke the spirit of change. So.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. You're angry at your family. You're angry at, and like you said, you can't change it by yourself. You know, our obviously even our rules and government, they have issues changing laws, this things, and you're just angry. And that's the one thing that's so hard to see is that you see Black people so angry, and then it turns into almost sometimes either self-hate or hate of others. And that's still anger, you know. You see people lashing out. You know, I've gone on dates where, you know, I am biracial, and I've gone on dates with someone, and for some reason, they just, you know, I've seen them we go through a line and they start saying, you know, some racist slurs to Caucasian people. And it's just a turn off to me, because I'm like, I understand that, like, you know, you may not like some things, but being this nasty negative, it just makes me feel some kind of way. And especially if I have relatives who aren't the same color, you know, it just makes me feel some kind of way. And I can see the anger exchange. And then and it's just bad. And I wish
Well, that's a grieving process. I think, like I said, I think internally a lot of Black people have a lot of grieving that we have to do in terms of our current state, our past state. Like I said, I think truly a lot of people don't realize the post-traumatic stress that a lot of African Americans go through. And, you know, we go through our stages. You know, I remember when I was, you know, going through all these different stages in my community, watching a lot of stuff. And I'm just like, you know, oh man, like, you know, and then you get angry when you're conscious. You learn the reasons why. Go ahead, take a drink. Go ahead. Just mid-interview. Just go ahead. But yeah, you know,
You live in a camp? I mean, I don't like the way you talk about that. Oh.
Philippines, Thailand, like women that can speak very little English, women that don't have education.
I don't like the way you talk about. Oh, don't underestimate women from all of these three countries: Cambodia, Philippines, and Thailand. Don't underestimate them. I mean, let me tell you something, girl. We are all smarter, prettier, and nicer than you, and our attitudes are better than you too. Girl,
pause.
Right now, there's so many people wanna.
Yeah.
And she probably got 2 million followers.
And exactly. You don't want that in your chat room.
No, you don't want that smoke.
No.
You don't want that.
And it's like and it's easier to talk about people when they don't have a voice or they don't initiate against you. You can keep throwing rocks at people and thinking that we're over here in America, but when they start reflecting the mirror and saying she's smarter than you, prettier than you, and we're nicer than you. What I guess is going to happen or supposed to happen is Black men are supposed to say no, right?
No. I mean, that's the thing. What can you say about that? Because I mean, you're trying to say something, and that shows our how can you say I don't know why I'm blanking so quickly. I'm blanking on it. Our ignorance, that's a good word for it. And thinking that the way we see things on TV and on movies and from Jackie Chan movies and Bruce Lee movies, this is the way the world is. This is the World Wide Web we're on here. And guess what? Instantaneously, when you say that crap, it goes over to their country too. There's no time delay on this. They get it the same day that you said it. So you're putting yourself in a world of hurt. Because they can go, and guess what? We're all on the same platform, so they can come right in on your page and talk about you to your face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, completely agree. And well, the thing is that like, and I've been on platforms, speaking with women and some male critics and detachers and like they say, oh, these places are third world countries. So I actually have an apartment in Medellin, Colombia, and Medellin, Colombia is a metropolitan city. The part of Medellin where I'm at, like it really kind of reminds you of like a little bit of Midtown Manhattan, except that every single person just speaks Spanish. But people know how to speak, people speak English there as well. And they have malls, they have restaurants. So like, I don't know where people think like we're just like going into huts and just meeting these women or something like that, and like, you know, these impoverished villages. Like, people need to stop watching Narcos. Like, Narcos happened back in 1980 and the 1990s. This is 2023. You know what I mean? Like, things have upgraded. Things are a lot different.
And not only that, I think it's one of those things in which I would hate for anybody to put a camera on us as Black people and say, "Oh, this is what all Black people do. We're all this one type of Black person." And that's exactly what I'm hearing from a lot of different women, that, "Oh, well, you know, you're just poor and this and this and that." Like, it's just really degrading them. And like, I'm not, look, I get it. We all can talk some shit, and we all, you know, it is what it is. But let's be real. Let's back it up. When you get on a channel or a panel and you're talking about men going there, argue the points, argue your merits, argue the facts. But when you start saying they're more educated, these people know 4 languages. I barely know English.
They come out of school knowing 2 and 3 languages fluently.
Yep. Yep.
These people, if you really like it, and I think I don't want to get too far ahead, but if you go into any hospital, what do you see?
Right.
Them.
Thai, Filipino,
Cambodian, Laotian.
Right.
I in my mind, I'm like, okay, my wife is going to be leaving to go to work soon. Especially if it was some jobs that I would work night. I would work irregular shifts, not a regular 9 to 5. I either work nights or, you know what I'm saying, some part of the nights, or I'm off during the week and working the weekends. So I will always, okay, she's going to be leaving soon, and I either have the day to myself, like James did in the movie, or okay, she'll be coming back home from work around such and such time, so I better get this out the way before she come home. So the constant, you know, the time you see him looking at that clock is like, okay, I have X amount of time to get this done and out the way before my wife come home. Okay, but then it gets to a point where you lose track of time, or your wife or your partner come home a little earlier than you thought. You know what I'm saying? You know, because everybody's out the house. The kids are at school. My wife, she's a teacher. She's at school. So I'm like, yeah, in my mind. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the clocks came in. Go ahead, babe.
And it has to be done in a good amount of time so that he can be refreshed mentally. Because what I learned about the addiction is once he done it, he felt horrible, and it would just sink him into a deep low. And so he had to have that time to get that done, you know, let the demon control him for a while, and then resurface as that lovable, sweet husband and dad that we love and respect and adore.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, because there was a scene where one of his friends it gave him some exciting news, and then he went upstairs, and you can see him press his fingers up against his head in stress.
When I tell you Maurice had all the nuances, he really did. And you see his eyeballs, he already got big eyes. So when he started expanding them bad boys, that just said it told the story of where his mind was at.
Yeah.
So all those little,
because even in good news, it's one of those weird things where in any addiction, you know, you're on a high, you're feeling good, but then you realizing that you have to return to your addiction to complete a task.
Yes.
And that was one of those things that I noticed in terms of what he was talking about. So like I said, go watch the movie.
Yes. Yes.
Go watch the movie. Because
time was of the essence. Time was of the essence. All right. And he was always irritable when somebody comes and takes some of his time away from his activities. So like you said, you got to go and watch the movie Yes.
But I'm gonna say this to you, family. What the fuck kind of resonance are you looking for from a little white girl, bro? Come the fuck on, man. I mean, let's be real about this. Hold on a second. Wait. You gotta come on. I listen to you. I listen to you, son. But you got to let's be real about this. Let's be real about this, right? One, what made her popular? What made her popular?
Kevin Samuels.
Hold on. She was, some would say, regurgitating the words of Kevin Samuels, but not just Kevin Samuels, Rollo Tomasi. She consulted with Hafiz and the roommates.
We're
Okay?
really gonna do this.
So
we're really gonna do this.
Yeah,
This whole
listen, man.
fictional story.
Look, bro,
Wait.
No. Come on, man. I didn't even land my plane yet, man. You got me
land it. I'm just getting frustrated with this.
No, don't be frustrated, man. I mean, don't use feelings, use facts, yo. We do this. Come on, yo. So what I'm saying
so
to
we
you
know
is,
this for a fact, right?
So hold on. We know this for a fact. She spoke to it. They spoke to it.
So that's a fact now.
She consulted. She done. Okay, look.
Okay.
This is what she was studying. What was she before she came to this sector? Her and her ex-dude, Angry Reacts, right? 20-something plus million TikTok subscribers. Her and her big black dude that she had before, right? Fine, whatever. Listen,
sorry, y'all.
The messages that she's speaking are the messages that the other people in the sector are speaking. So she did not create these messages. Everyone states she's regurgitating. Remember, I'm not defending anything. For the record, just so the people whose minds are locked into specific compartmentalized boxes, it was a stupid move that she made. It was not a move that I would have recommended. If she was one of my friends, I would have cussed her out for what she did in terms of making that type of move, right?
Yeah.
It was foolish. But now I'm talking about where we as a people invest our emotion, our pain, because pain or the emotion of hatred is a similar emotion that's somehow connected to love. So the people that hurt us the most happen to be the ones that we love the most, right? So at this point, this just turned 25-year-old white girl who's regurgitating messages that somehow created the space that we currently are in. But she's saying the same messages. And it just so happens that the mode of delivery, let's say because she looks like the girl next door. Let's say that because it's a white girl. Let's say that she comes across, if y'all ever seen the show called Dawson's Creek, I don't want to wait, right? She's that Joe. She's just a cool homegirl that hangs out with the guys. She's a girl that grew up with a lot of brothers, whatever the case may be. She delivers the message the way she delivers it. Remember, it's not just to us. She doesn't just speak to us. She speaks to multiple races, right? So at this point, people are saying she's come up off of us. She's definitely made a move in terms of us, right? But guess what? There was never a racial issue that was brought up about her message until it came to this point. The things that
maybe people didn't listen. Maybe the people like
maybe the saying the same shit everybody else was saying.
Hold on, no,
well,
Chef, you gotta let me talk, man.
What do you mean maybe?
You gotta let me talk.
Facts, bro.
Chef.
Okay,
you gotta let me talk. Maybe people like me said, "Oh, this is another white girl who's trying to come up off the manosphere." So the racial issue has always been there. It's always been there. It's just that people don't give a fuck.
I'm talking about what people are saying, man. Yo, Blizzy.
People don't care when the black man says something is an issue. That's the problem. I've been saying it. I told people all the time. I knew her because me and her started literally within the same
sauce. Soy sauce. Soy sauce. So you still want to talk about that, bro?
No, let me complete my sentence. Let me
okay then.
The racial component has always been there. So when people ask me, well, what do you want? What do you want? This is what I want. This is out my mouth. We're gonna run the clip.
Want Pearl to do? Do you want her to take sensitivity classes? Do you apologize? What do you want her to do?
No, I do want an apology, and I would like a retraction with a full understanding of why those messages are dangerous. So that's my standpoint. My standpoint is not, oh, I want to cancel you. Oh, I don't like you because you're a white girl. My stance is, oh, I want to punish you because I feel like I'm a sucky YouTuber. My standpoint has always been consistent. I just want an apology and a full understanding of why what you did was essentially dangerous. I tried, y'all. I tried. And so Obsidian had she ends up dropping a apology. Then 2 hours later goes on Obsidian Radio. Now, I got a lot of flack because people say, well, what's an apology going to do? What's an apology going to do? What's an apology going to do? And I have a background that's probably unique. I was in leadership classes. I talked about leadership a lot in terms of my channel. I have 2 ethical leadership topics that I've talked about. I actually want to do a 3rd topic about ethical leadership. I've been a leader in terms of work, managerial positions. I've also been a leader in my community. I've been a leader amongst my friends. I believe in leadership in a way that's probably uniquely tuned different than probably the average person. When I speak about leadership, I look towards leadership. The leaders I study, not the fancy one, not the Steve Jobs, not the Colin Powells, and not the fancy one. I look to leaders like the leaders that you don't even know their name, and I don't mean that because of necessarily they're so famous that or so obscure that you don't know their name. I mean, I look to normal leaders, people. And I look to them and I say, okay, this is what I can take. I admire the way that they lead. I admire their style. And so this is uniquely me. But when we come to apology, this is what the thing about apologies that I was trying to really emphasize what an apology does. So let's talk about it.
What'd you say?
I say how many people want that no one wants. That's the issue, though.
Yeah, nobody, no woman wants a man that no one wants.
Yeah. As Cyrax says, yes, we get judged harder, Andrea. Apparently, we can't have fun. We got kids and a man at home.
Sarcasm.
I mean, like for real. Like sometimes especially her being a newborn, this is a new mother, first child, you need to let her get this out, and you act like this. You know what I mean? Like she can't go out now. Like you the first little situation that happens, you pop off the lid and start getting Twitter fingers. To me, that's not fair.
I don't even
let the lady go out. Say what?
You breaking up, Ang?
I say she's the one that's supposed to have him balance, not him.
Yeah, I guess it probably would have made more sense to see her get like that versus him getting like that.
Man, even if I was upset, I would have been at home. I would have waited till she got home. I would have been asleep with the baby like this, like, huh? What happened? Yeah. Oh, you went to? How was the usher come? Oh, Lisa's good. She's. I don't like that thought. I would have been playing it so cool, like this shit ain't. Cool. Like this shit ain't phasing me.
Playing smooth, man.
Yeah, okay, that's your memory. Go ahead. That's it.
The way he acted about the thing, I don't even think he would want a relationship with Keke Palmer no more, because she had to have lost just a little bit of respect for him at that point, and the relationship will probably never be the same. She can't respect that. I don't see no woman respecting no man that act like that.
Yeah, and not only that, for her bag, like, say she's gonna be doing other, like you say, movie scenes, videos. She's gonna be in spaces with other men. And she's always gonna be known as the girl with the insecure dude.
And clearly she don't respect him because she went and did that video with Usher. That was the ultimate disrespect. She let him know right there. Yeah, nigga, I don't care about you being in your feelings.
I'm still tripping.
I'm the rich one.
don't. Hey, you better stay your ass alive because hold on, because you better stay alive because Usher baby.
Oh, that boy that came through with all his chains on, glasses on, shirt open. It just kept saying the same line. The whole song seemed like it was that one bar.
Yeah, it really ain't a song. It really ain't no song. It's just him just talking shit.
The hoop on the loop.